Hi there, LinkedIn family. Jonathan here from Some Talented People, and we're bringing you another series of discussions with myself, Guy Danes, and Dylan Solomon. And our discussion topic this week is competition a good thing? So in today's show, we're going to say what do we mean by competition, and then we'll go on throughout the week, and I'll introduce each one as we go. So I think competition, from my perspective, is a very interesting question. Basically, in the market we had before COVID, I think that there were lots of companies going after what they perceived to be a small market, whereas I now think competition means something very different, because it's as much, for me, competition against yourself to be successful as it is against anyone else. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I think, we've got to take competition, what it is on face value, and break it down from there. 2 or 3 more companies offering the same service at favorable pricing or service to create a market share. And it's how you treat competition within your business makes a difference. It's how you overcome it,
What do you
deal
mean?
with it, or thrive above it.
Sorry, Guy.
Yeah, Dylan's right in many ways. If you look at competition, in every market, there are 4 major players, and there's a whole lot of other players, whether they're still successful, but they're not the big players. And at the end of the day, we've got to have the competition, because if we don't have competition, we're not going to hashtag sharpen up and sort our lives out. And a lot of companies have gone through a phase where they've realized, hang on, our sales strategy wasn't as good as we thought it was, and they should be attacking their own sales strategy, but they don't know how to do that, A, and B, they've got too much emotion involved.
What do you mean by emotion?
The emotional decision making. A lot of people around the table, the 4 directors or 2 owners or 1, they'll get very emotional in terms of the competition. But competition comes and goes. They sharpen the market. They make you sharpen up and really get focused. And I think it's really good.
Dylan, out of interest, I mean, we've watched so many companies go to the wall, big names and small names alike. What do you think is the situation these days?
Well, these days we're talking about very, very different to the old days, but there are still some business tactics and business ways of looking at it. Competition is learning. If you don't take the emotional out of a competition, what does a competitor do? It can teach you a lesson. It can teach you to sharpen up. It can teach you to do better. So as Guy rightfully said, you take the emotion of the unfairness out of that, and you treat the competition or the competitor as a learning curve. What can I improve to hold my share? Then it becomes a totally different way. Competition isn't scary; it's an opportunity.
Right. So a learning curve.
Yeah,
Definitely.
And the learning curve has got to come from the top all the way down. And a lot of people say don't spend a lot of time talking about competition, and so some people use the word opposition because it doesn't sound as bad as competition. But you've got to spend some time, because every business gets hurt in certain areas. So you've got to say, well, do I want to play in that area or not? And if I'm going to play in that area, it can't be just price driven, especially in a B2B market. B2C market's different, but a B2B market, if you want to keep on cutting prices, we know that your gross profit percentage is going to go nowhere.
Yeah.
You're not going to show any growth. Some competitors will go under because their profitability won't be at that level to support the cash flow and to leverage it, etc. So at the end of the day, it's continually knowing I've got competition. Where am I being hurt? Why? What resources have I got to actually, and with my team of people in terms of the culture, how can we actually, and a lot of people use the word differentiate. I like to use the word unique, and we'll get into that word later in the various sessions.
Well, okay, so what I'm picking up, and it's something which I think is true, we all three share a particular brain activity which is different, and recognizing that learning opportunity, how would you approach a mentor to sharpen your edges like this?
Any mentor, anybody that's been through this is always the best, and that's why you should have more than one mentor through business and through different business phases and stuff. There's there's very few people that have been through it all, and they're the best mentors. But if it's something specific, someone's been through that, don't ask advice from someone that hasn't had to deal with the situation that you're going through. And that for me is the best way of choosing or aligning or working with the mentor in the learning curve through this.
Do you think then, so what I'm conceiving of is a situation where lots of people that used to be in businesses are now out of business, and so they haven't been able to adapt or change or learn from the way the market has gone. If you're still in business, where do you look now?
If you're still in business, you've got to look at why you're in business, and secondly, look at who do you want in your circle of influence. This is going to be someone who's going to challenge your thinking, because the next curveball is around the corner, and it's irrespective of your size of your business, you've got to have someone who's going to try and look at shifts and trends in your marketplace while you're focusing on doing the operational side, running your business, etc. You need someone flying helicopter to actually be able to support you and understand your personality and the various dynamics.
So literally a business coach or something like that.
Whoever it's got, someone, because everyone's saying, no, I've actually got through COVID-19. Very few people got through COVID-19 unscathed.
Yeah.
So, and we'll discuss that in next sessions, etc. But at the end of the day, it's taking someone who you can actually trust and work with, and it's a two-way meeting of the minds. But that, as Dylan said, you've got to change that also, because otherwise a person might get stale and might get complacent. So I call it your circle of influence.
Okay, well, look, tomorrow we're going to look at how COVID has affected things. Dylan, maybe get an extra light because you look like a vampire at the moment. But if we all wait...
I must try to find a light.
Okay, everyone wave, and we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, all right, cheers.
Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, just go. Right. So that's what we think competition means. And tomorrow we're going to look at the fact that COVID has had such a disastrous impact on the nature of business and what we can do about it.